first 2 games. Hachimura has made only 3 of 11 shots and has only 4 free throw attempts. For a guy playing 34 minutes a game, the Lakers need a lot more production from him. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
You hear certain stuff, it just takes you certain places, does it not? You can't hear that without thinking about NOLA. And in this hour, speaking of NOLA, I am pleased to welcome a son of that city, the brilliant thespian, Wendell Pierce, joins us right now for the rest of this hour to talk about NOLA, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, which kicks off this week, and his new series, Elsbeth. I was saying earlier in this program today that this brother is everywhere. Wendell Pierce stays busy, and I'm always just thrilled when he can find an hour to talk to me because he's filming all the time. He's obviously doing everything he can to aid and abet the rebirth of his city. He is running my favorite talk station in New Orleans every day. Brilliant and busy brother, but always takes my phone call and comes on this program, and I invite him. Wendell Pierce, I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it, black man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I cannot tell you how honored I am to be on KBLA. This is my favorite radio station in Los Angeles, if not the country. Even, a close second to my own. but we try to emulate this station because this is the premier talk radio station in the country. I feel that you are doing great work and important work and giving people the platform, and that is the most important thing that anybody can do. So thank you for having me on.
No, you were kind, my man. You were kind, and I celebrate you and all the work that you're doing, which we'll talk about in this hour. But since you went there, let me just follow you. Well, actually, I went there. You followed me, so let me follow you again. Tell me why it mattered to you to get involved in the radio business. Tell me more about how well the station is doing. But what I'm really pressing toward is, and I've called you this before many times. I call a few of my friends who I believe fit this bill. The following, I see you, and it's the highest compliment I can give you. I see you as a citizen artist. You are a citizen artist, and your artistic genius. Your particular brand of artistic genius is not at all separated from your advocacy, from your activism, but it means something to put your money where your mouth is, and to do what you're doing with this wonderful station in New Orleans. Tell me why that matters to you.
Well, I mean, I think in America we've forgotten the role of the artist.
Mm-hmm.
You have explained, you have qualified it in a wonderful way with the moniker of citizen artist. But that is the definition of what an artist should be. I am not an entertainer. Entertainment is a byproduct of what I do when I produce my art, but I'm not an entertainer. The role of art and the role of an artist is that which individual thoughts are to a person, where you reflect on who you are, where you've been, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you have to achieve, where you have failed, where you have triumphed, where you have been, where you are now, and where you hope to go. When you reflect on that as you toss and turn at night in your bed, or as you reflect on your condition, that is the role of the artist in the community as a whole. When we come together collectively and say, where have we been? Where do we hope to go? What are our values? And collectively come to some idea and conclusion and focus and vision about our values, because culture is that intersection of life and how a people deal with its journey. It is the literal intersection. That's what culture is. And that is the place in which an artist collectively with the community serves that role that the individual thoughts are to a person as they reflect on where they're going to be. We collectively converse and decide what our values are, and then go out and act on them. That is the role of an artist. Even when folks you don't agree with, trying to find consensus and common ground, and what is the common good for our humanity. That's the most important thing. And in all of our greatest times, there has been art that has led the way, that has helped. On those marches, we shall overcome. We shall, to steady us as evil people plot, good people have to plan. And together, song and poetry and theater and film makes us collectively think about what we're going to do and then act on those values. And for me, WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about, was a 70-year-old station that gave a voice to the voiceless in the Black community. Imagine in the depth of the hellacious Jim Crow South of New Orleans, where Black folks couldn't even go to a park, a green space, except one day a week, Negro Day on Wednesdays. They had a station that gave them a voice that they can call and give voice to what their needs are and complaint, and which is actually in the Constitution, to have their complaints addressed by the government that they are supposed to have control over. And that's what WBOK was. And it was on the selling block. And together with a few of my partners, we said we couldn't let that that important station go away. And that's why we bought the station. Unfortunately, it was January of 2020.
Yeah.
So,
I know so.
The worst time to buy a radio station is in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
But we are keeping our head above water.
There you go. Wendell is brilliant at what he does, and some have even called me brilliant at what I do from time to time. But what we have in common is that neither one of us realize that we're climbing up the rough side of the mountain, trying to bring radio stations, Black talk stations online in and post a pandemic. He launched his, and he took over in 2020. We took over here in LA in 2021, and thank God for Jesus, we're both still standing. More with Wendell Pierce, really just getting started with Wendell Pierce when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit-on-the-go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Call Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything.
Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley in conversation with the owner of WBOK, 1230 AM in New Orleans, Wendell Pierce. I am honored to be heard on that station right now. And so I thank Wendell and his team for allowing this program to be syndicated on that station. And for those who may have just started listening to us in other cities across the country, we're in New York and D.C. and Philly and Chicago and everywhere. And we're literally next week, I believe, about to make an announcement, a big announcement. We have a huge cache of stations that are picking up this program in the next week, and a long list. Okay, I'll tell you. We're announcing next week literally a dozen new stations that have picked up this program. Tavis Smiley in syndication. 12 new stations have picked us up, and you heard it here first. You hear the details about that next week, so the cat's out the bag. But I say all that, and I hadn't planned to say that, but I say that because when I went into syndication, the very first station to carry me in syndication was WBOK 1230 AM. So you know I love you, Wendell Pierce.
No, but thank you. I love you right back, Tavis.
No, so we're delighted to be on his station, and I thank Wendell again for giving us some time in this hour. Before I move on to your artistic work, not that BOK isn't artistic and part of your expression, but just a quick question. I say this all the time to this audience, particularly in this election year, and not just election year, in this season of America. And we are in the midst of a multi-million-dollar climate justice campaign here in L.A. on our station, and just all the stuff that's happening in the world. I find myself reminding this audience of the value and the import of black media, primarily because there's certain questions that don't get asked if we don't ask them, certain issues that don't get raised if we don't raise them, certain people doing some amazing work who don't get profiled if we don't profile them. That's my own assessment, but I want to get your take in this critical moment, even beyond the projects that you have in New Orleans and I have here in LA, just about the value and the import of black media at a critical moment like this in America's history.
Black media is so important. There was a wonderful wonderful documentary a couple of years ago by the great Stanley Nelson called Soldiers Without Swords. And it talked about the great Black newspapers like the Pittsburgh Courier and the Chicago Defender and the work of Ida B. Wells, that it was so impactful for the Black communities in the early part of the 20th century during Jim Crow, that those media outlets were seen as a threat to white supremacy in the South, that they were contributing to Blacks, the Black migration moving north, looking and seeking a better life, that they were banned and prohibited. And everything was done possible that the Pittsburgh Courier and the Chicago Defender weren't distributed. And Ida B. Wells, who reported on the lynching that was happening, her life was threatened and was constantly threatened. Her life was always at threat. And that yet still, those are the papers. I remember my mother would tell me she used to sit at her mother's feet, my grandmother's feet, and they on Saturdays would read the Chicago Defender and the Pittsburgh Courier as if that was their weekly readings from their mother. So my grandmother was giving them the impetus and understanding that Black people can thrive, that Black people had the right to exercise their own right of self-determination against all odds. And we created a mantra in my family that can't die 3 days before the creation of the world, so don't tell me you can't do something. So in the midst of this violent culture and of America, where everything threatened the livelihood and the lives of Black folks, it was the Black media that gave hope, that gave vision, that gave purpose, that gave a plan of action and strategy that contributed to the great Black migration to the north, northeast, and to the west there in Los Angeles, and gave people guidelines and places to go and acted as a manuscript in which you can thrive. And if you made it to Chicago or Cleveland or New York, you can communicate with your family back home through the Black media. So the Black media has always been important. I bought WBOK because, can you imagine the announcements on Black radio when they say, and there's a fish fry on Friday and Dr. Martin Luther King is going to be here on Sunday. And we had to advocate, because even then, now everybody marched with King, but even back then, if we're going to be honest, no, people were like, oh no, not the troublemaker. What are we going to do? How are we going to thrive? It was the Black media that gave us the platform to know what was truthful, because we were lied to long before this fake news phenomenon of today. We were constantly missing stereotyped and given misinformation. It was a constant thing. And so it was the Black media. And to this day, it is the Black media. And especially in this election year, I think about my state of Louisiana and the platform that we have to make sure that people are reminded of the Colfax massacre, when in the late 1870s, they didn't like the result of the election. And so they killed 300 Black folks who were at the courthouse exercising their right to vote. It happened in Opelousas, Louisiana. There was a mass murder of Black Republicans in New Orleans, with a monument to the men that executed those who were just trying to be politically active. And they didn't like the idea of Reconstruction, Black men in police uniforms. So they killed the police, right? They attacked the police. Sounds familiar? January 6th, It's the same. It's been happening. It's a continuum. And and it's the Black media that must always shine a light on those things and know that they don't go away, that we have to be ever vigilant. And there is blood on that ballot box. And we have to remind people, in honor of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we could have our rights today, that we owe it to them to shine light on any injustices and exercise our right of self-determination.
I will tell you that over the course of my almost 30 years of knowing him, I've had a lot of fun times with Wendell Pierce. I was in New York some months ago, and he and I hung out and had a good time then. I've had a lot of fun times with Wendell. But I will also hasten to tell you, I have never, the fun and the silliness notwithstanding, I have never had a conversation with Wendell Pierce, including this one, that I did not find empowering, sobering, and inspiring, as I'm sure you are feeling all those sentiments right now. It's why I love talking to Wendell Pierce. As he was talking, two things came to mind. He mentioned Dr. King, and everybody these days lying and saying they marched with Dr. King. Coretta Scott King. Coretta Scott King, as you may know, Wendell was. Let me rephrase that. I had the honor of being a friend of Mrs. King, Coretta Scott King. Spent a lot of time together over the years, sat for a lot of conversations, one in which she busted my chops that's been seen millions of times on YouTube when Coretta Scott King went in on me and told a joke that just leveled the house about me. So her sense of humor came out in that particular conversation. We were sitting for a conversation in Ebenezer, in the pulpit, where her husband had preached all those sermons for a live conversation. And it was a funny moment. You can find it on Google. I won't get into it right now, but I had the honor of being her friend. And she said to me on a number of occasions, Wendell, to your point, Tavis, these Negroes is lying. They lying. Everybody wants to say that they marched with Dr. King. No, what these Negroes mean was they were sitting on the porch when Dr. King and I walked past their house, but they did not they did not march with Martin and me. They saw us marching by their house. I thought about that story when you were talking about Dr. King. And the second thing, and you know this story, but I want to just put a finer point on why I love New Orleans. There's so many reasons I love Wendell's hometown. But Dr. King only founded one organization in his life. It was and remains the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. It was founded in the basement of a church in New Orleans. That's it. That's where SCLC came to be. And so we celebrate the city of New Orleans for all kinds of reasons. Just want to add that to all that Wendell has said just a moment ago. So as you see, I could talk to Wendell just about serious stuff all day long because he's a brilliant brother, but he's also an amazing thespian. And as I said earlier, he's busy as ever. He has a new series called Elsbeth, and I want to play a clip from Elsbeth before we continue our conversation.
I didn't want her there. City Hall wants her there. It's the lawsuit from last year, all those wrongful arrests by Major Case Unit.
Yeah, that wasn't our fault, Captain.
It doesn't matter. The judge ordered us to hire an outside attorney for police oversight to observe your investigations for a year.
I know, but what am I supposed to do with this lady?
Let her observe. Her DOJ boss in Chicago thinks she's easily amused.
Yeah, well, she's easily amusing herself all over my crime scene.
Bob, it's a suicide. Just humor her. Tell her some old war stories. She'll get bored and move on.
Wendell Pierce, first of all, as I've said to Wendell 1,000 times, I just love his voice. I mean, I could talk to Wendell all day long because those pipes just do something. I love his voice. But that said,
I tried to emulate my hero. The reason I'm an actor is James Earl Jones.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you ain't doing bad imitating him if that's what you want to call it. If you want to call it imitation, I think James Earl Jones got it honestly, and I think you got it honestly. I mean, before I go to Ellsworth, let me just do this right quick because I scribbled this down. I know the audience heard it, and I'm moving so fast. I scribbled this down. I want to go back to this before since you mentioned you're fashioning your thespian work, that voice off of James Earl Jones. Let me go back to what you said a moment ago. You ran past it so fast, but you said you dropping bars, man. I want to go pick this up. Give me again that Pierce family mantra about Kate dying what's that line again? Slow that thing down and give it to me again.
Kant died 3 days before the creation of the world. Don't ever tell me you can't do something.
Kant died 3 days before the foundation of the world. So don't you ever tell me.
The creation of the world.
The creation of the world. Yeah. So don't ever tell me you can't do something.
Kant died 3 days before the creation of the world. Don't ever tell me you can't do something.
Oh, that'll preach. That'll preach, as we say.
Oh, yes. That was the family motto going all the way back to my grandfather, Herbert Edwards.
Yeah.
Who I am in the midst of doing research on. Do your family research, man. Do your family research. I had a great uncle who was lynched. They attempted to lynch him. And my grandfather, his brother, along with other brothers, saved him. And in the midst of that, they went back and sued the folks who lynched him civilly and won and got the money to buy the acreage that is now our homestead of sugarcane, about 45 acres in Assumption Parish, Louisiana.
You better stop.
I don't know how true the story is, and I'm doing the research now, but just the idea that, first of all, we do own the land. If it is a story, what a wonderful made-up fictional story. But also, it is a reflection of that mantra. My grandfather always said it. Well, you said do this. Oh no, I can't do that, boy. Can't die 3 days before the creation of the world. Don't ever tell me you can't do something.
That's
Do
rich.
it.
That's rich. This audience hear me say it all the time. Every day I walk out of here, I'm smarter than when I came in. But every day I'm looking for something to hold on to. And I got my something now. That's that thing that I will hold on to the rest of this day, for the next few days, be marinating on that. And before you know it, I can't steal this one because it's been said on public radio now, or publicly on the radio. it's the Pierce family mantra. So I can't steal his family motto, his family mantra. But I may incorporate that into my stuff, Wendell, if you don't mind. I may incorporate that with me.
Feel free.
No,
Feel free.
That's good stuff. I'm looking at my clock now. It wouldn't be fair to give you 90 seconds to tell me about Elsbeth, but you can start telling me about Elsbeth. We'll continue when we come forward.
I'll be brief. Ladies and gentlemen, you see why we're friends. Because one conversation can last a couple of days with me and Tavis.
That is true.
We both have the gift. Yeah, but Elsbeth is a wonderful show on CBS. It is a reflection of what CBS really does well when it comes to procedural shows. And it's based on this character that was on The Good Fight and The Good Wife, Elsbeth, played by Carrie Preston. And Carrie created this as a character that was just a guest on those shows, but now she has her own show. And it is like Columbo. It is one of those old throwback crime mystery series where you see a crime happen at the top of the hour, and it's less of who done it, but how done it, because you actually see the crime, and then you're going to see how Elsbeth figures it out. She's quirky, she's funny, she's unusual, and it's akin to Columbo. She's like the female Columbo. But she's a thorn in my side. I'm a police commander, the captain of the precinct, and she is there sent on a consent decree to make sure that we do our jobs correct. And there's something suspicious about my character, Captain Wagner, that she is also investigating, that we find out whether or not it's true. So it's a really lovely anthology series that I'm enjoying doing, new on CBS Thursday nights at 10 o'clock.
There you have it. He knows how to do it. That's why he owns a radio station. He actually does a show on his own station every now and then, I think. But he knows how to do it and how to hit his mark. He did that thing in short order and got out right on time. More with Wendell Pierce when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is meeting with college leaders amidst ongoing pro-Palestinian protests aiming to prevent escalation. Adams, who is Black, emphasizes that schools like Columbia and NYU are for education, not managing volatile situations. He warns of outside agitators inciting violence, urging schools to tighten security and identify non-students on campus. President Biden is set to speak at the commencement ceremony for one of the country's top historically Black colleges. Biden will speak at Morehouse College for the ceremony scheduled on Sunday, May 19th. Posts on social media have been calling for students at the college to stage a walkout in protest of Biden's support for Israel. Biden has reiterated support for the country in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war. Both Biden and former President Trump have been campaigning around Georgia to influence Black voters in the state. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Great news. Sunlux has the all-new Tesla Powerwall 3 in stock. It's ready and waiting for you when you go solar with Sunlux. Learn more at sunlux.com, sunlux.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Kawhi Leonard's return to the lineup last night was not enough to inspire a win for the Clippers against Dallas. The Clippers lost by 3. The best-of-7 playoff series is even at a game apiece. Luka Doncic had a game-high 32 points and 9 assists. The Clippers were fortunate to lose by only 3. They shot a season-low 36%. In his first game since March 31st, Kawhi played 35 minutes. He had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Kawhi's right knee seemed to hold up pretty well. The question is, will he be healthy for Game 3 Friday night in Dallas? Don't be surprised if Lakers coach Darvin Ham shakes up his starting lineup for Game 3 Thursday night against Denver. Rui Hachimura has been a non-factor in the first 2 games. Hachimura has made only 3 of 11 shots and has only 4 free throw attempts. For a guy playing 34 minutes a game, the Lakers need a lot more production from him. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Hello, this is Dr. Rosa Milligan calling authors and business owners to register now for Black Writers on Tour plus Business and Tech Expo Saturday, April 27th, 10 to 3 p.m. at the Carson Community Center.
Authors, aspiring writers, learn how to write, publish, and sell your book. Business owners, let people know where you're at. Call 323-750-3592. It's a free event. You heard right, free. And there's something for everybody. Go to blackwritersontour.com and register today. 323-750-3592.
Literacy and technology is everybody's business. Black Writers on Tour, Saturday, April 27th, 10 to 3 p.m. Admission and parking is free. See you there, 323-750-3592. BlackWritersOnTour.com. Don't you miss it.
Ready to re-examine your assumptions and expand your inventory of ideas? More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of Tavis Smiley and Wendell Pierce coming your way right about now. If you missed the first half hour of this conversation, you missed a good one. I encourage you beyond this conversation to go get the podcast on any of our platforms if you missed any part of this conversation, because Wendell Pierce has been dropping bars in this dialogue today, as he always does. I want to play something from Power in just a second, and let me just tee this up, because I got one more question about Elsbeth first. But I will admit on national radio that I was slow on the Power thing. Sorry, 50. I was slow on the Power thing. But when I heard that my friend Wendell Pierce was joining the cast, he and Erica, I had to check this out. And when I tell you, I got hooked on the Power thing. I got hooked on Power. And then I'm going back years trying to catch up on everything. But it was Wendell Pierce, and knowing he was going to be there, that pulled me in. And when I tell you this Negro kills it, I tell you he kills it. He and Erica snaps on Power. We'll talk about that in a second. Before I get to that, it's been hard to find a clip that I can play on radio. This is family radio, but we'll do our best, Miles and I will. That said, before I get to Power, tell me more about your character on Elsbeth, now on CBS, Wendell Pierce.
Yes, I play a captain in the NYPD. Over my precinct, and I'm a commander, Captain C.W. Wagner. And he is very politic. He's moving up the ranks. I dare say I want to be a commissioner one day. And there's something suspect about him that Elsbeth is investigating. And it's over the course of the season. We're halfway through right now that you ultimately going to find out she's investigating him, and I've just found out that she's been investigating me. So I feel as though I've been betrayed, and that under the guise of being there for a consent decree, which is the DLJ coming in and overlooking the New York Police Department to make sure that they are operating properly and within the Constitution. She has also been really sent there to investigate me, unbeknownst to me, and I find out. And so the stuff is about to hit the fan when it comes to that. Okay. But I love the fact that Gloria Rubin plays my wife.
Yes.
We have our own foundation. We are doing things in the community and trying to improve people's lives. And I love portraying a Black officer. Once again, I play a lot of police officers. I was on the show, and they told me I played 18 police officers in my career. And I didn't realize it. I couldn't remember the names of any of them. But the thing that I learned in doing research, especially for these roles, Black folks become police officers because the crime that disproportionately affects our communities does not reflect the good people of our communities. 99.99% of our communities are folks just trying to go to work and live a better life. And they're law-abiding, hardworking people. And it's 1% of the community that is having an adverse effect on all of the community. And that was the thing that really inspires people that through all of my interviews to become police officers. And so I tried to reflect that in Captain Wagner as well.
You ain't playing no cop on Power.
Oh, no. Well, that's the thing that I love. That's the thing I love. I love to tell people, and I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to do the two at the same time. I'm playing cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Because on this, I am Snaps, and Ishmael is my name.
Yeah.
And on there with Erica Woods, who is playing Pops, who is my betrothed. And hopefully, I wish they get into it a little more where our names come from. She's actually Pop, and I'm Snaps. And of course, that means Snaps, Crackle, and Pop. So there was a crackle. And I somewhere down the line they introduced the fact that there was a crackle, loosely based on a real robbery, bank robbery outfit. We used to rob banks, but now on Power Book 3, Raising Canaan, we are some OG gangsters who are financing and bankrolling some kids who are slinging stuff on the street, and we don't take no mess.
No, you don't.
Don't mess with my money, Tavis. Don't you mess with my money. We also like to celebrate the unique Black love that you see out there. You ever see those couples that dress alike? They talk alike. They go to the same things. I've been pitching. I want to do a step scene where you see Snaps and Pop stepping or doing their version of stepping.
Oh yeah,
dancing to some music or something. We are that old couple that you go, oh, ain't they sweet? But we're lecherous, and we're some lecherous folks. And I myself, I have to admit here on public radio, out here for the world, that I was late to the game myself until they asked me to consider coming on the show. And then I checked it out and I was like, oh man, I like this. And I think I could do something with the role. So he is one of those, when you walk into that bar room on the corner, as we call it in New Orleans, a bar room. That guy sitting in the back in the red vinyl booth, smoking and talking trash, and it seems like he's not doing anything, but he's controlling everybody, right? That's Snaps, and that's who I play. And I love the fact that people get to see at the same time my range as an actor.
Oh, they see it, man.
Literally playing cops and robbers.
He is indeed. So here now, I will warn you, it's hard to find a clip on this particular show that is approved by the FCC for family radio. Miles would do his best to bleep out the stuff for radio. If you're listening on the app or any other device, you'll hear it because the FCC don't care about that. For some reason, they just care about radio, terrestrial radio. So if you're listening on radio, we'll bleep it out as best we can. If you are listening elsewhere, you'll hear the full thing. So feel yourself forewarned. But here's a scene from Power Book 3, Raising Canaan.
I've always found Unique to be reasonable and thoughtful. And if he is saying to sit tight while he's figuring out some things, I would suggest that you give him time to fashion a plan.
Nick's plan's being made by his competition.
Who's your brother fine-ass smashing?
Rock.
This business makes for strange bedfellows, right, baby?
Just a little taste. That's about all I can give you. Just a little taste. But Wendell, you and Erica, y'all kill this thing, man. I mean, y'all killing it.
Man, we are enjoying it so much. It is. I've always wanted to get an opportunity to play a role like this, and I just, like I said, and to do it with Erica, which I met working. With Erica, I met her on another show. We did the Michael J. Fox show. It's been years since then to be able to work together again. And she's a great actor. And to create, I hope this iconic duo, you know, Snaps and Pop, you know, and we were just supposed to do just a couple of episodes. They asked me, you know, if I could come on, and because it shoots in New York and it's, you know, it works out, I'm able to do both shows. Yeah. And so it's really great. And we have done over half of the shows now. And it's a guilty pleasure. No, it's to be able to do both shows. So I'm blessed.
You're killing it. You're killing it. He's a busy man, as I said earlier. And that doesn't include Broadway. When I last saw Wendell in person, we were toasting his Tony nomination. We'll talk about his Broadway work. Busy guy. Wendell Pierce on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hi, I'm Reverend Gerald, host of Urban Family Focus here on KBLA Talk 1580 on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. In an effort to help reduce the impact of hypertension in our community, Providence is offering free hypertension assessments. The first 30 people to visit KBLA1580.com and use the link or QR code to register will receive 2 tickets to the Amazing Grace Conservatory presentation of Aladdin, A Whole New World for Real, at the Crenshaw Performing Arts Center, May 25th and 26th. Go to KBLA1580.com right now and be one of the first 30 to register for your hypertension screening and receive 2 tickets to Aladdin, compliments of Providence and KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
City of Los Angeles landlords, verify your tenant's Emergency Renters Assistance Program status today. Tenants approved for rental assistance are protected from eviction for non-payment of rent through May 31st, 2024. Approved rental assistance applications protect tenants from eviction for non-payment of rent. Refusing to accept rental assistance based on their source of income is illegal under law and can be used as a defense in an eviction case. Check your tenant's application status now at housing.lacity.org. That's housing.lacity.org.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how do Skechers Slip-ins work? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide right into place. So just step in them and go. Find new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Who do you trust to get at the truth?
Tavis, Smiley.
That's who. The conversation continues right now.
It does indeed, with the brilliant thespian Wendell Pierce, who is our guest in this hour. So I was saying a moment ago, Wendell, when I last saw you in person, we were in New York. We were toasting you for your nomination, your Tony nomination, for your brilliant role, your brilliant turn as Mr. Loman, of course, in the Broadway revival of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. I read somewhere recently, preparing for this conversation, that you called playing that role the high water mark of your career. Was that an accurate quote?
That is an accurate quote. And it's very truthful. High water mark, not only in my career, I think one of the high water marks in my life, because I've never done a role that has challenged me so comprehensively, so completely. Not only the skills of the vocal and the physical skills of being able to do the role night after night, 8 times a week, but the psychological deep dive that one has to do when playing that role to really tap into the power and its effectiveness. It is a real reflection on yourself, sometimes your inadequacies, your self-worth, your value, what your vision of the purpose of your life is, and how you have failed yourself, really looking at your failures. I started doing the role when Tavis, I had concerns about whether my best days were behind me, whether or not, the concerns of a middle-aged man coming to a place where maybe I haven't done all the things that I wanted to do with my life, building relationships and family and friends and all, caring for my parents at the end of their lives. My mother had gone. My father got to see me opening night. And I've had one of the most cathartic, most beautiful moments of my life to honor him from center stage on Broadway on opening night. He came to New York in 1947 when the play was first done. And to know that he lived long enough, I just recently lost him in November, but he lived 98 years so that he was able to see his son play that American iconic role center stage on Broadway. And I honored him on opening night. That is beyond any sort of artistic achievement. That is a moment of pure spiritual manifestation of the dreams of those who had gone before in my family, the dreams of my father and everything that he had worked for to give me everything I needed to be there. And to do that in a role that is a part of the American canon, that is our American Hamlet, was a great epiphany and a great blessing. So that will be the high watermark of my career, if not my life.
Blessing is the word I was going to. You have been blessed beyond measure. Your mother, your father, your family, and you have blessed us and continue to do so with your brilliance on stage, on the screen. We all love Wendell Pierce. Our remaining moments with him when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Smart talk for curious people just like you. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I've got 3 minutes left, Wendell Pierce, and I'll give it all to you. Here is my exit question. First of all, condolences, of course, on the loss again of your father. I'm so glad you had that moment at Death of a Salesman, and to know that you received a Tony nomination for it makes the story even sweeter. I close with this, since you went there, talking about how you had to ultimately push through the doubts that you were having as a black man of a certain age. There are other black men of that same age listening right now, what I'm listening in this studio with headphones on. So I'm curious as to your answer to this question, because I think it would be instructive and informative and inspiring for all of us. At this stage in your life, when you were doubting yourself with all that you have accomplished, no less, how did you push through? How did you navigate through that moment? Because you're doing some amazing work now, brother.
Yeah, well, what I realized was that's a great challenge and fear to have, and that don't try to avoid it, but lead into the fear and the unknown. Because what I learned was courage, true courage, is not acting in the absence of fear, but in the face of it. True courage is not acting in the absence of it, but in the face of it. Mm-hmm. So while I still have fear, I now have courage. And it goes full circle back to what we spoke of earlier. Can't die 3 days before the creation of the world. Don't tell me you can't do something. So even in this third act of my life, I am empowered. I actually am empowered with the knowledge that I have from the beginnings of my life, from all that I have gone through, all of those things that may have beaten me down to the point where I had doubted myself. I realized, thank you, okay, now I know. You beat me to a point of epiphany, of understanding, of reawakening, because now, although I may have fear, although I may have my doubts, I now have courage, and I can act in the face of them, and I still know that I can exercise my right of self-determination, even till the last moment of my death. I will be empowered. And I learned that from all of those who came before, all those old Africans captured, sitting alone at night saying, I wonder if one day I'll ever be able to make a way. And we have made it a part of our culture to make a way out of no way. So exercise your right of self-determination. Make an impact on the world. That is your birthright. And especially in this year, remember there's blood on that ballot box. And honor those who shed that blood to make sure that you can cast that vote and get out there and change your world.
Mic drop. I'm out. See you tomorrow. Keep the faith.
Blessings.
Love you, Wendell.
Love you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Donald Payne, a black six-term congressman from New Jersey, has passed away. The 65-year-old Newark Democrat died after suffering a heart attack earlier this month. The congressman suffered a series of health issues through the years. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement wants to suspend Black Broward County Sheriff Gregory Toney. The state agency on Monday asked the judge to suspend Toney for 6 months. Toney is accused of lying on his driver's license application